He's going to have to find a way to really stuff it inside in this last couple of corners if he's going to have a way to go. There's his last push to pass. And sliding sideways. Checker flag is in the air to the finish line. With his second win of the season comes Will Power for Team Penske.
Good job, boys. Good job, boys. Awesome.
Yeah, Will Power winning the first race there in Detroit. Joining us now is Tim Hauraney. Tim, welcome to the show, and thanks for turning up there.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on.
Coming into work, eh?
yeah, I guess a little bit.
Will Power, really hot this year, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's been doing pretty good. Had the big win yesterday. I think he's around 3 points back of Ryan Hunter-Reay now for the lead in the championship. During that race, though, it was pretty exciting. The last 10 laps, Graham Rahal was really coming on strong at the end there, and it came down to the final 6 corners of that race to find out who was going to be the true winner. But Power was able to fend off Graham Rahal at the end.
Now, you're a champ driver yourself in the past, and you've been on the tracks. What do you think of the Indy 500 with Hunter-Reay winning? I mean, it was an exciting race because it kept on, going back and forth, and a few spin outs.
That's one of the most exciting Indy 500s that I've seen in a very long time. That's a tough track to drive, where Hunter-Reay made the pass on Castro Neves in the second to last lap of the race. That's a very hard place to pass. Corner 1 is not an easy place to pass, but he did a great job of fending him off the last 3 corners to take it to the line for the second closest finish in Indy 500 history. It was amazing. Like I said, Hunter-Reay is he's a true champion. He's a class act. He's a great guy, and for him to get that win is huge for his career.
Yeah, right. He's a nice guy. I interviewed him at the Honda Indy, and spent a bit of time with him, and quite impressed with him. He always has free time to talk to the media, which some of them don't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was a big help in my career coming up. He always gave me a lot of good advice, which is all you can ask for when you're a young driver coming up through the ranks.
Tim, going back, you win a race, you come back, you come out of it, out the pits. First of all, you have a management jumping all over you. Hey, well done, etc., etc. Then there's the cooling down period, and then you go before the media. Does adrenaline come up again?
Absolutely. Like, you have to see, like, his media tour was week long. So as soon as he got out of the car, media started from that moment until 12 a.m. at night. And then he would sleep for a few hours. He would have to get up, get on a jet, and then go to New York and do, like, all of their Good Morning Americas, like, all of their radio shows. It was a media sweep for him, and it started as soon as he got out of the car and until he got into the car yesterday.
So now he does the tour of all the different TV shows, radio shows, media attention, of course. Same questions are asked. What is it like to be a winner? I mean, how on earth do you hear this all the time? I mean, how do drivers sort of react to that? I mean, now we see in professional sports, there's more training done to handle the media.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a big part of it is always trying to be well read. And I remember when I was coming up, my father always taught me to be well-read and well-rounded, and the more well-read and well-rounded you are, usually it carries over into the media. When you're asked the same kind of questions over and over again, you usually find a good way of answering them in different types of ways to make it sound interesting and to make sure you're not saying it over and over and over again. So if you have fans that are tuning in and they're following you around, they're not hearing the same thing churned out.
What's the most a fan wants from you? Obviously to see you win, but I mean beyond that.
Yeah, autographs are a big part of it for sure. I think they just like to be heard, and I think a big part of it is when you're what IndyCar does and what the drivers do are interact with the fan base. It's amazing. They do a great job of it, and I think a lot of other series can learn from that, but the drivers need to be accessible, and that's a huge part to the series.
Unlike F1.
Yeah.
Yeah, NASCAR's done extremely well
Yes.
with it, haven't they? But I tell you what, I want to get your views on this double racing. Detroit's got Will Powell won the first race yesterday, second one today, and same with the Honda Indy. And when we interviewed Hinchcliffe, he wasn't too keen on the two races. How do you feel about it? I mean, he said that with fitness, and he's tired after the first one, and then you've got to concentrate and get the car ready again. Do you think it's a bit much?
For the driver, it definitely is. I think even for the teams, it's great for the sport. They need to do it to help grow that brand a little bit more. That being said, though, when you're a driver and you're racing on a street circuit for however long, like if it's for 70 laps like it was yesterday, it's going to be just as long today. If it's hot, how bumpy the track is, the cars will beat the crap out of you. They will literally beat you up. And by the time you're done wrestling in an 800 horsepower, Indy car, that it's not like you're just putting your hands behind your head and saying this is a Sunday drive. It's
How much weight do you lose? I mean, obviously it's hot in there. You got to be extremely fit physically and mentally.
I've lost, me personally, probably around 8 to 10 pounds in fluid from one single race. And now a lot of these guys are doing hyperbaric chambers when they get out of the car, just to try and recover as fast as they can to get ready for the next day. Some of them use plaster casts on their hands and on elbows, so you don't get the skin tearing away your hands and all the skin wearing away on your elbows. So you have to protect the equipment. That's huge. Protecting the car, making sure you're not in crashes, because the mechanics have to stay late and fix the cars if
Overnight,
you get into a crash.
That's right.
And that wears them out. So it's the whole team aspect you really have to be on top of. As a driver, you're in charge of what you do in the car, but you're also in charge of what happens outside of the car.
Now, Tim, before we go, the F1, the Montreal F1's on next weekend, and I don't know, there's not much news about it. It's a bit quiet. And then you got the Honda Indy in July around the streets there on the CNE. The F1, there's been a lot of complaints about the tyres not lasting, and the drivers are not too happy with the Pirelli tyres.
I think the tires have been pretty good this year. They're better than what they were last year. The huge thing, I think, between all of it is how the teams are utilizing their time with the tires and how the drivers are able to get the most out of them for the duration of a race. A huge thing with this is obviously the rivalry between Hamilton and Rosberg coming into Montreal. I know a lot of fans are looking forward to it. It's going to be very exciting. So, it's going to be a good race.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Tim, thanks for being on the program. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon.
No problem.
Motorsports keeps on going and going and going. But that was Tim Hauraney, of course, reporting on the ex-champ car driver, and of course it's all now the Indy car racing.